Got it. Well,
I think that here we can because people come from different provinces and people come from different countries also. And I used to work with some foreigner boss also Japanese and Malaysian, Singaporean boss. So I think that we should open and accept different and new things. Of
yeah,
course, when we come, it come a new thing come. We at the first at the beginning we feel don't like, but I think that we should have a positive thinking that with the new thing we
yeah,
will, of course it's challenging and difficult because it's not familiar with us,
yeah,
but we should have a positive thinking. I often have a positive thinking that I
yeah,
advise myself that with new things I can learn one
yeah,
more. And if
yeah,
I learn more, I will grow up. So that's in I think that is my way. Whenever I meet challenge with new thing with new boss, I often think about that
yeah,
way.
of
I will
course.
learn. I try my best to learn,
Yeah,
even though that is challenging me a lot. But
yeah, it shows.
yeah, I try to learn. And of course, after with a good attitude, I see a good result
Yeah,
at the end because I of course, when I am facing that challenging, my colleague also facing the same challenging like me.
yeah,
So yeah, so I think that where at the end when I overcome my obstacle, my difficulty in
obstacle.
work life, I see that I grow up and I
Yeah,
feel very happy. Yeah, because I become a higher level of myself, a good of
yeah. A better
myself.
version, of
I think
course.
that's
Of course, now
yes.
you are a better version of yourself, of course.
Yes, and you see, so far I cannot imagine that a lot of things I can learn, and I am now. And when I compare myself now with myself in the past, when I were at
Yeah,
high school, when I was young at high school, and all, and the girl and the person have just graduated from university, I see now I am much mature, much better, and something not like me in the past, teacher.
yeah, of course,
Yes.
of course.
Yes.
And I definitely agree with you. It's really important to stay open-minded and be willing to accept,
Open-minded
yeah, of
and be
course,
willing
to
to open.
accept new and different things. Maybe this can
Yes.
be culture, this can be maybe method. So I think it's really important to be open. So, but not everyone can do this. So it's not only about, like, for example, employer, employee. Even, my job, my career, I have many students from different countries. So, and
Yes.
sometimes I compare, especially at night, sometimes I think about them. So, how they are different. So, I can say, for example, working with Chinese is really difficult. Really difficult.
Really?
They're totally different. And they don't want to. They don't want to accept. Sometimes you want to change people. For example, I want to change you, but I can't. Why I should change you? You are another person with another
Yes.
culture. Yeah, with
Yes.
another method, actually. Why I should change you? It's not really, but it's not. Sometimes you feel like, no, it's not really easy. Actually, this is your ability. If you, for example, when something new come along, maybe you feel uncomfortable at first, but you try to stay positive. You remind yourself that, for example, every new experience is an opportunity, and that's perfect to learn, to grow. But even if something seems like challenging, feels challenging or unfamiliar, so that is really good that you tell yourself this is actually a part of learning process. That's perfect. Not
Yeah.
everyone has this ability. You know, I think that mindset really, I think that mindset helps you stay motivated.
Motivated.
Yeah, of
Yes.
course.
Mm, often motivated.
Yes,
Always
of
be
course.
motivated.
That is
Yes.
really important. No situation, no boss, even it's difficult. So maybe you've tried to have the right attitude. And actually, it brings good result in the end. That is perfect. But and as you just mentioned, you are not alone. So your colleagues and other people, even me, we have the same challenges. But I think uh, if we want to overcome an obstacle or obstacles at work, we need to be open. We need to accept changes and try to be adopted. But
Yes.
not
Yes.
everyone can do this. It's not actually something that everyone has. Especially as I told you, this is my experience. I was like, it was so different. Why? For example, like uh you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do this. No, you shouldn't. Do you remember once you told me that when I have a new boss, they just give me some orders. Okay, do this, do that. This process is frustrating, but I try to just accept and just stay calm and patient. It's not, of course, it's not really easy, but I think this is your secret why you are successful. So,
That's a great
yeah,
teacher. I think
yeah, really.
I think many books say that, and I learned from book teacher.
Yeah.
Many books advise that thing, and even YouTube, they have a
Wow.
many good video to say 7 habits for successful people.
Yes, I
Successful
do remember.
people, yeah,
Yeah, you
yeah.
introduced the book. I remember
Yes.
that book and I've downloaded it. Yeah. Uh, yes, it's really good to learn. As I told you, not everyone can do this. So you could find that actually pure, perfect version of yourself. Now you can improve it because now you know how to do it. But this is not, especially in the beginning. Yeah, it's not really easy to get used to and to accept changes and challenges. Like, not everyone is able to do it, but if you can do it, you can overcome any obstacles in your just life and work. So, like personal life and your work. But if you can, if is really important, if you can. Yeah, sometimes I feel like that, okay, I can see my just white hair strand. I'm like, okay, I'm getting old. I can't. I can't.
Yes.
Yeah, really. I'm like, oh, I can't. Yes, sometimes for example, I ask questions to know because I have no idea. Is it okay? Or, for example, if maybe something is totally different in my culture and in other cultures, especially when it comes to work. Yeah. But of course, sometimes I can't find any acceptable answer. Well, let me ask you
Yeah.
another question. Okay. Actually, since we talked about developing, yeah, cities and countries. So let's talk about it a little bit more. Now, let me see. Uh, when it comes to living cost, so of course in big cities it's totally different. I want to know if because I know that there is a big gap, so especially when it comes to expenses and cost, I want to know that if it's really different in large cities and, for example, no, just small ones or maybe countryside, if there is a big gap or no.
I think that's big gap, teacher. Cost big gap. But for example, here, the food, I think that not different, not much different. The I think in case, I think that's in the general situation. In case we for the food, for the cost for food, in case we buy food in the supermarket, and we cook, by ourselves and we don't go to restaurant, I think that we can the cost I spend for food every day, I think nearly the same with in the big city and countryside,
Um,
nearly the same.
Nearly the same. Yes.
Yes, but in the country, big city, some very expensive costs like uh, education, tutor, education cost. It means that school fee for children. Yes,
Yes.
very here, school fee for children and and except for food, I think so. Except for food cost and for the food cost nearly the same between big city and countryside, but other service like here they for example for it depend on the service we choose. For example when we choose to send children to a international private school, the fee is very expensive. But when we choose to send them to a public school, I think that the fee not very high. It
Oh,
very it yeah it's so so.
yeah, of
So
course.
that's it. I it mean that the different the gap depend the gap of course depend on the service we choose. And here another cost, I think that accommodation cost is also a matter for young couple because they need to in at the beginning, if they don't have a apartment or house, they need to rent house or apartment for living. So I think that that can increase the cost, living cost for them monthly. Yes, and so in the countryside, because the land there, the land price there is cheap, still cheap. So it's easy to have a good house
Ah,
to for living.
okay.
Yeah, it's very not very expensive. Not uh, it's not cost a lot to buy a house to
Yeah.
live in the countryside. But here to buy a it's a big matter to save enough money to buy an apartment or a house in a big city. So yeah, so people often save 10 10 years so they can save work and save money, work
Yeah.
money, get salary every month, and after that just use for essential cost
Yeah.
for food and they need to reduce a lot of their cost so that they can save money, and after 10 years
Yeah.
saving money like that they
Saving
can
up.
buy a
Okay.
house or an apartment for living.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's it,
got
the
it.
story of young couple. Yes,
Yeah, of course.
yes, yeah.
So, as you said, it depends on what actually the kind of service people choose. So, can be different or no. So,
Yes,
yes. So,
yes,
and
teacher.
but about accommodation, as you said, major expenses accommodation. So, especially for young couples who don't
Yes,
own a house, yeah. So,
yeah,
renting an
that's right,
apartment
teacher.
or yeah can be quite costly, as you said. Yeah,
Yes, that's right, teacher. So, when we have if we can buy an apartment for living, I think that all the cost is not matter because we can work and salary here is quite high enough to cover the cost for living like food and other. But in case we need to rent a house, I think that it spend a lot of our salary. It
yeah,
yeah is yeah so I think that here we should think how to buy an apartment, and so
first. You should
if someone
manage,
have
of
a
course, save up
yeah
and manage. So in long term, so you can
yeah
buy. Yeah, exactly the same. We have the same.
Yeah, one person can, I think that if in case we don't need to spend money to spend our salary to for renting house, renting apartment, I think that's it. So it's okay. The salary can, I think that uh, it how can I say, the salary can, we can live comfortably with the salary.
Yeah, of
Yes,
course.
yes,
Yeah, got it. So it's enough, yeah, to live. So this, yeah, of
yes.
course. Your mom,
More
yeah,
than
got it.
enough, teacher. If
Yeah,
we can arrange to buy an apartment, so
yeah, of course.
our salary is more than enough for us, so
Yeah, very good.
we can live comfortably. I think
Yeah,
so.
that's great.
Yeah,
Okay, so that's
yeah,
great. Actually, so if you can manage and if you can plan for it, so after, for example, a lot, just I don't know, if some years you can buy what you want, it's good. And sometimes people can't. Even with saving up, they can. But when, of course, you can make it, okay, after 10 years, I can buy a house if I manage, for example, my budget and try to save up. So that's perfect. And I think the same condition, we can say the same condition. So when it comes to food, of course, we have the same thing. So normally people to, I don't know, especially go shopping for groceries, especially, and other things, not only groceries. So for everything to Costco,
yes,
for example, in my
yes, yes,
area to Costco. Why? Because it's cheaper than, and other areas. So people tend to. So I think it's the same. So we can say that living expenses is less than, of course, cities in countryside. So because of this, people tend to stay there, and after saving up, of course, they move, depending on their job and career. Well, okay. So thank you. Today you shared lots of good
yeah,
information. Thank you so much. Actually, today I was just listening to you and I really enjoyed. I really
yeah.
enjoyed. Thank you.
Thank you for your lesson,
You're
to
welcome.
teacher.
I
Yeah,
thank you. It was really good just, sharing and just I can say that now you're talking, of course, there are some parts that should be corrected, but I can say that I can see this progress. You are doing great. Very good. Now you're speaking, yeah, of
yeah,
course, with less, yeah. I can see that fewer errors and more understandable, clear. And thank you. You are doing great.
yeah.
Very good.
Thank you,
You're
teacher. See you next
welcome.
Monday.
Of course.
Monday.
Of course,
Yeah,
see you. Of
yeah,
course, see you Monday. See you.
yeah,
Goodbye.
yeah, yeah. Goodbye, teacher.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye.